I've been using the Apple Studio display for about a year now, and in this video, I'm going to be giving my review on this monitor. I'm going to be discussing the pros and cons, talk about who this monitor is for, and whether or not it's worth the $1,500 price tag in 2023. When you unbox the display, the first thing you'll notice is how minimal and aesthetic it looks. Apple really have mastered the design of this thing, with the all aluminium design, the solid stand, uniform bezels, and the glossy texture. Even looking at things like the air vents and the speaker grills, the attention to detail Apple has put into this thing is nothing short of spectacular. If you're somebody who's used to using cheap plastic monitors in the past, this thing will definitely blow you away and feel like a huge quality of life improvement. A minor complaint I do have is that the bezels are a tad thick for such an expensive monitor, especially when you compare it to something like Apple's Pro Display XDR, but I imagine that's because Apple needed a way to fit in the camera at the top of this display. And that brings us on to the second point, which is the webcam. Unlike most other monitors, the Studio display comes with a built-in 1080p webcam that supports Apple's center stage feature, where the camera can detect who's present on a call and follow that person around. Admittedly, it can get quite annoying during calls if you're reaching down for something and the camera just follows you along when you don't want it to, but this is something you can toggle off in Control Center by pressing the video effects option. As far as quality goes, it's no secret that for a 1080p camera, the quality on this thing is quite bad. You're missing a lot of definition, and the colours seem a bit brighter than in real life, which I personally don't mind. For me, the fact that this thing has a built-in camera saves me having to buy a separate one. There's also an A13 chip inside this thing, which powers the center stage feature and allows for Hey Siri support. Honestly, why Apple chose to include this thing is beyond me. I personally think they could have done without it and reduced the price, but it was their call. Thankfully, the speakers more than make up for this though. Apple includes a 6-speaker sound system with 4 force-cancelling woofers, which gives this monitor excellent bass and sound quality. It supports Dolby Atmos and spatial audio, which gives you a 3D cinematic-like sound experience. They're by far the best speakers in any monitor ever, and for 99% of use cases, they can probably replace your desktop speakers, again allowing for that more clean and minimal desk setup. And that's a key theme you'll notice with the Studio display, is that by having things like the webcam and speakers built in, it saves you from having to purchase these things separately, which not only saves you money, but also reduces the number of cables you have to plug in, and therefore the amount of clutter on your desk. That said, if you are a consumer buying solely on the basis of price, you can probably stop this video right away, because I can say with confidence that there are a lot of cheaper monitors out there that can get the job done at a fraction of the cost. But if you're somebody who cares about the experience that they get when using a monitor, then continue watching. Taking a look at the back of this thing, we can see that there are 4 I/O ports, one Thunderbolt 3 port, which can deliver up to 96 watts of power and fast charge a 14 or 16-inch MacBook Pro, and 3 standard USB-C ports where you can plug in any peripherals like this BenQ screen bar I'm showing here. The fact that this is a USB display makes this really easy to connect with things like your MacBook or iPad. In the box, Apple gives you a 1 meter braided USB-C cable that supports Thunderbolt 4. It's a tad short, especially considering that you have to pay £129 to buy a 2 meter cable separately, but it feels premium nonetheless. Connecting this to your devices couldn't be easier. Just place the USB-C port into your iPad or Mac, and it works wonderfully. You can adjust things like the brightness and volume using the keyboard on your Mac or iPad, which is a unique feature other monitors don't benefit from. Finally, let's talk about what's arguably the most important aspect of this monitor, and that's the display. Apple advertises this as a 5K liquid retina display, which can achieve up to 600 nits of peak brightness. It supports over 3 billion colours, as well as Apple's auto brightness, true tone and night shift technologies, which allow for more comfortable viewing angles in different lit environments. Long story short, this display looks gorgeous, and it's a joy to use and look at. Everything looks crisp and clean. It feels like you're just using a scaled up version of your Mac and iPad display, and honestly, it's extremely difficult to put a price tag on this kind of feature, especially when you're comparing this to your standard PC monitors, which, let's face it, they feel bland most of the time. It's gotten to the point where I actually now look forward to sitting down and getting work done on my Studio display because of how gorgeous this thing looks. It is a 60Hz panel, which means it doesn't support Apple's ProMotion feature. And initially I thought I was going to dislike this, especially when using my iPad Pro next to it, but honestly I haven't really noticed the difference. The system still feels smooth and snappy. Another limitation of the display is that it's a standard liquid retina display, so it's not mini LED like on the Pro Display XDR or the new MacBook Pros or the 12.9-inch M1 or M2 iPad Pros. So if your workflow requires you to work with HDR or high contrast displays, then maybe you don't go for this monitor. But I will emphasize that the majority of displays which are marketed as HDR still only are able to reach 300 to 400 nits of brightness, whereas the Studio display can easily hit 600. So it's still brighter than the majority of screens out there. And if you're a normal user trying to just do office work on this thing, then you're definitely not going to notice the difference. And I think this is where the Studio display hits its biggest problem. Apple has marketed and priced this thing as a studio grade monitor, so you'd imagine that the target audience for this would be creative professionals. But at the same time, it's missing a few features that creators might care about at this price point, like HDR support and mini LED. At the same time, at £1,500, this thing is way too expensive to justify for office use, unless you've just got a ton of disposable cash at hand. And then you add on issues like poor webcam quality, the fact that you can't remove the power cord, the fact that you have to spend £400 additional just to get the privilege of adjusting the height on this thing. All of a sudden the value proposition for the Studio display begins to fall askew. So in summary, who is this monitor for and should you consider buying this? And my answer to this would be that this monitor is really made for those die-hard Mac users out there, people who want that all Apple experience and are willing to pay a premium for the enjoyment it gives you. It's weird because personally I've absolutely loved using this display over the past year. I love using it, I love the design of it, but at the same time I still wouldn't recommend this thing to one of my friends, especially the ones who are casual users, simply because there are so many other ways those £1,500 can be spent. So I'd say only buy this thing if you've got spare cash to burn, if you can write this off as a business expense, or like me, if you're just a massive Apple fanboy who wants the full Apple experience when it comes to using a computer. So that wraps up today's video. Do let me know in the comments down below what you think of the Studio display. Do you think it's worth the cost, or do you think it's grossly mispriced? And yeah, if you found this video useful, do make sure to hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos like this, press subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.